Santes. That's
I mean, so
where
far
we've
he's
seen
been playing
the most
a bunch
success.
of tanks
Yeah.
throughout the
I think
regular
Emperor's
season.
breathes a sigh of relief after the last time he had to play the Kennen Renekton matchup. It did not work out so well. So in the end, your prediction of Cassante was correct, albeit slightly delayed and with a bit of creativity in terms of the champion coming out. Zehen in the jungle, something that's difficult for Razork, especially as you get closer to this first Drake.
Yeah, we might have a fight for Scuttle Crab here as both teams are looking to move in. Razork, no flash, crucially.
Good vision, bit of a disconnect from Lost, but an upset as they turn back onto Paris. Paris isolated. Aftershock about to fall away, but it's first blood on the top side of the fight is, unsurprisingly, the flashless Zin. A pretty easy target for Navi to punish.
A great play by their Reletch. He flashes in, he's able to secure the crab with the smite.
Of being super consistent at getting those dragons as well.
Yeah, and I think that just being able to stack those Drakes is crucial, but we do have a fight breaking on the bottom side. Razork level 7, but just big chunks of damage coming in from Zombie and Paris. The Sunlight passive from Leona paired with this Corki burst is kind of disgusting.
And Fnatic are just weaker 3v3. They're not able to take any fights, even though Razork wants to look for it again and again. And now Navi will be able to pick up this first dragon. Razork might try to run to Grubs to try to get a cross map going. It looks doubtful though. It's just Navi all across the map winning right now.
This is one of those things where it's nice to see kind of tangible coach impact, because we know that Gota1 is a part of this Navi roster, but he was also originally part of the 2023 BDS roster that we saw had second highest dragons in the league. Now back then, dragons were a little bit different to what they are now, of course, 3 years ago. But that BDS roster, that roster did end up going to Worlds. They did contest in the finals in spring. And you can see that translating over. This dragon-focused team, you have to imagine, has been impacted by this coach support behind the scenes.
And I think you saw it, like, for me, the clearest you saw it was with Navi versus LR, where LR as well, their strategy was just to stack Drakes every single game. But Navi just got the better hand of him and got all 4 dragons that game. And it's just such a tried and tested strategy. It's super easy to execute. It works with any team comp. And when it works, you just choke the opponent out slowly and give them no real opportunity to return.
And I think part of the reason it seems pretty easy for Navi to implicate new picks is we see Reletch moving in the bottom lane. Does still have access to the ultimate, the Grim Deliverance. Zombie caught out under the tower, but massive damage and loss. But Zombie needs to get out from under the tower. And it looks like he might just go down the barrier. Not enough. I don't know, Zombie understood that he was tanking, but he might just be happy with this trade deal because Reletch is going to get right back up. And Upset is sure as hell dead.
Beautiful dive.
It's going to be a little bit embarrassing for the rest of the junglers in the league.
Ooh, they're looking for a gank in mids.
Poby, quick slide, but back into enemy territory. Flash away from the shockwave is good. Reletch on the way in. Dash forward, flash connecting. The stun is massive onto Vladdy. Razork not able to interrupt it. The ulti not in range. Navi.
Oh my god, Paris, I love the flash forward there. Just ulting Vladdy, who has no flash himself, able to take him down. Just the confidence that we're seeing from Navi this game. They're willing to take every single play that they see, and it's working out wonderfully thus far for them.
I mean, they're quickly starting to snowball this game. Reletch going for a bit of a skirmish against Razork. He should be fine to get out of this one, though.
Possible hooking in. Grim Deliverance takes it back to the wall, but Paris is still committing to the fight. Now Reletch is going to return to the fight. They feel confident enough. Poby's coming in. They're going to have the man advantage. Paris is still alive. Lock into the Iron Solari. All that extra money. Making him that much stronger, and it's a double kill.
Shut down this Cassante, and the worry as well is if he goes topside, then his bot lane just gets dove again. So it's a tough situation for Fnatic, and especially when you're playing this Renekton. Unless you're able to get a huge gold lead, it's so hard to have an individual carry potential as the champion just doesn't scale that well.
And you can even see there, ulti utilized by Emperos. Damage was good, but just has to be careful. Fury fully stacked, maybe a tiny window here where he can double dash through, try to force a fight, but this doesn't look like a lane matchup where one player has 1,000 gold in their favor. It still looks quite close. Emperos without information also doesn't feel comfortable to just go all in here. Doesn't really know, now that the Drake has been down for some time, where Reletch is playing towards.
I also just like to think of Renekton and his scaling as how many short-range champions is he against. And speaking of one of those long-range champions.
Poby on the way up. Flash forward from Manger, getting the extra slow coming from the W, and now he's taking down Emperos.
Or maybe if they can secure it first tower of the game at the very least for Fnatic.
This feels like such a big morale loss as wait. We have a TP coming in here, Fnatic.
Paris using the Eclipse, trying to stay as tanky as possible. Second TP is going to be a little bit late from the side of Navi. Vladdy trying to make a difference. A nice flash over, but he still gets caught!
Wait, I thought it was the Renekton, but the Renekton's still dead.
That was a bad TP.
That was an ambitious TP for sure.
All right, we're going to take it down a notch, I guess.
Game 1 of the series, ambitious.
Ambitious.
I guess probably had to make up for the Azir ult that happened in the mid lane, right?
Yes.
You thought you flashed this one. Nope.
Nope.
Scooped you back in.
That he did. Guys, Navi, they're replicating the early game success the last time these two teams faced up against each other. Fnatic, however, really going to need to pull a rabbit out of the hat on this one.
It's going to be a good fight for Fnatic. And then it's Vladdy. Yeah, the Fnatic stats are...
And Navi delivering as expected from the regular season. First in first tower, first in first Drake, first in Drake percentage, first in Herald percentage. Fnatic
They also got a first blood in this game.
trailing in every metric, and that pattern has continued into playoffs. Best of 3 has not been that moment of revitalization yet, even this is only a single game. These are tough numbers that are being reflected in our first game.
I think a great clickbait title is the Fnatic had 0 first Drakes in the whole regular season. And they didn't get a single Drake yet this game, so they're keeping that record up. As now, finally, it's the Renekton TPing behind. Let's see if they can do something with it.
In, follow from upset now to kill Paris. Poby trying to hold the line underneath the Sun Disc here. Pushback is good, on to 3. Relec now looking to follow. Got to be ready with the Grim Deliverance. Z instantly tries to turn the fight back. Somdi already taking down upset. 1v1 between Razork and Somdi, but it's Relec versus the world as he wants to keep fighting. The revive not there anymore. They're crucially well timed by Fnatic to find the shutdown. Somdi also not winning out on the 1v1 with the Xin as Razork just keeps going. One more auto on to do it. Somdi praying for a miracle. One more auto. It's Somdi!
My God!
With the big one!
Wait, Somdi...
No matter what kind of lead you have, it's pretty easy for Fnatic to cut you out. That said, control, Odo said it on the analyst desk. That's what he wants to see for Navi. And for the most part, outside of that play, we have seen it as there's a 1v1 topside, but more importantly, the third Drake now picked up. That said, Somdi, Paris on the top side, completely isolated despite the fact that their team is taking Drake. Bit of a risky gamble. His upset goes over the wall. He wants redemption. He'll 1-for-1. It's fight night for the 80 carries. His main turret is also going to fall. Navi want to keep fighting for some reason as Relech and Poby are desperate to turn this around, keep the numbers in their favor. They're currently down 1. Relech is powerful. Grim Deliverance there. Wants to finish off Razork. Doesn't quite hit with the Dark Glaive. Needs to follow up. Poby with an instantaneous pushback. Could be enough. Shockwave from Vladdy is good, but the damage really isn't there. Soldiers
Don't care about the vision. Rush towards the dragon. They now have control, and here comes the TP.
TP behind. Hook onto Paris. Fnatic want to turn. Poby has been locked up. Emperos now trying to follow. Relech wants to make the difference as Lost gets lower and lower. Main turn to the entire team. Razork zoned away. Razork down. The Dragon still standing as Emperos tries to make the difference, but he's been forced back. Poby to pick up the kill. Relech still standing. The revive coming in. Navi devastating Fnatic in the fight as they set their sights on the soul.
And Relech does so much damage in the back lines there and buys so much time with the revive.
This is now dire straits for Fnatic.
But a super clean game overall for Navi.
Again, credit to Navi for not getting too caught up trying to force their way in initially on that play. Because, as you highlighted, Vladdy was in a great spot for the Shockwave. If they had tried to force through that choke point, they might have lost. They waited, they took the time for the TP, and now well rewarded for it. Not looking to make the same mistakes the last time we saw these two teams play, even if they did maybe fumble around the top side a little bit earlier. That has really been the only difficult point.
There is. But Navi can just continue playing it slow, letting the Nash do the work for them. They can get this bot inhib, and then look to recall and play mid and top.
Flashes also not too far off.
And instead say, no, we just executed poorly game 1. We just need to run it back.
You already know they're doubling down. Come on, it's Fnatic.
Seems like that's probably the call as the ulti's going to come out. Grim Deliverance is a Grim Escape here for Relech. Nice to be on 1 or 2 of his deaths. Might have been sloppy, but the early
gotta
play.
do that on Leona. Come on, you gotta play like a champ.
The early play, incredible, especially compared to what we saw from this player last year. Certainly a huge development arc for him, and now in this entire Navi lineup is, look, we're running out of things to say, so thank God they're going to start fighting, because this should just be the final push for Navi. It is best of 3, though. Maybe they don't want to take any risks, tutorial style.
It's best of 3, so they don't want to win too fast. Oh, as a fight happens
Hold
here.
that thought as Razork now going to the backline. Nice shockwave to follow, but the solar flare on top stops any potential follow-up for the jungle top of Fnatic. In the meantime, Upset's been entirely split away from the team. He just can't even auto-attack. It's a double kill for Relech. Mainter has isolated somebody else. I didn't even see who, and frankly, it doesn't matter. Navi in game 1, 11K ahead from start to finish. They have been dominant here. Fnatic sent packing, sent back to the drawing board for game 2 as Navi on the road to a quick 2-0.
And Navi, they got all 4 Drakes. They played the same style as Fnatic. We'll play around bot lane with the ulti, and you have Sion to provide that front line. Does set Emperos up for the counter pick here, however. So he's going to go for the Jax, presumably. He was previously known as Jax Plank. So we'll see what he can do on this Jax counter pick.
Might have changed that one.
Consistency at controlling this objective. Top side is going to be traded as the crab is secured. And you know, we've been talking about this mid-lane matchup. All Ahri players complain about. You just need a little bit more AP and you can one-shot the caster minions.
Well, Reload has been caught out. The Pantheon has come online. They go golden to give themselves an extra moment, but it just gives time for Lospa to go in. Paris not going to connect on the stun. The exhaust is down into Reload, but he's still managing to connect the Qs for a little bit of extra healing. Poby forced to dash away. A Genji logo appears, and down go Navi. Paris on the way out. Razork debating, but a nice pick from the side of Fnatic.
And Fnatic finally making use of those globals.
Fnatic. That said, Relech resets, gets back on the map, immediately sets his sights on these grubs. Now, doesn't have pressure in mid, doesn't have pressure in top, but doesn't care. He just sneaks one away and wanders off.
Yeah, Lospa here gets charmed up.
They know he has no ultimate.
Damage. Maybe
No ulti for Poby though, so they'll just have to be happy.
And Fnatic can't do anything.
Relech hovered around the bot side jungle when Razork was basically being a pest. He was
That he also brings that discipline as well and just always has a clear game plan. Picking up now 3 grubs, both Drakes, while also...
Lospa could think about going over the wall. Luckily for Navi though, did the due diligence to set up some of the vision as Poby just gonna go for a cheeky little chunk, and the rest of Navi now ready to collapse. TP is there, tempered bait forcing out the flash. Razork forced to flash away as well. But now the ulti from Mayntor. Mayntor's not done. Why are you going to follow? I don't think there's much of a fight here, but they're at least going to get one more.
Those plates down, and he was not taking the recall to match Mayntor. So Mayntor loses a lot, but Razork might have been off.
It's done. Upset now on the way. Wall coming in. Paris already used the portal. Critically, has to flash away himself. The fight just keeps on going. Zombie is winning here. Excellent done. Relets going over the wall. That A-Truck hitting like a truck. Poby on the way in, dashing in just in time. Trying to find the extra charm. An extra dash, reset, flick back from Vladdy.
That gives Razork the confidence to start up this Herald.
But we find ourselves in a similar position to game 1 where it's now Emperos against Poby and Samdi who are getting the gold that they need to be the carries for their team.
To be fair, the odds of a Jax carrying against 2 Fed carries versus a Renekton, I'm gonna much favor the Jax. So if there was a game to do it...
Complaining about and GP buffs.
It's like 10 more AP, it'll be completely fine. First tower in the top lane goes to Fnatic, so they will gain a gold lead once more. But Dragon, gentlemen, we've been saying it all series long. Dragon spawns, Navi's there, and which player is on it first? None other than Relech, already starting this objective off.
Poby waiting for the TP to complete, hits the perfect charm. Empiros, though, has the shield. Love that change for top laners. Samdi, good ult to chunk Razork and Lospa. Lospa going to keep the fight going on to Mayntor. Mayntor able to sidestep the knockback. Emperos in the pit. Razork doesn't have flash to get over, so that's Infernal Drake to the side of Navi. Emperos is just going to lead.
Into that space. They're so reliant on Lospa getting an engage that if they don't find it, there's nothing they can do.
And Navi held the space well.
The game for a Baron.
That's true.
That's a fair
that is one possible. I would say that's a terrible trade for Fnatic, but
yeah,
it might be the only option. Is Mayntor just wants to clear the wave here.
Mayntor is like, I wonder if Odoamne is getting like memories of his time. Oh, hang on a minute.
It's not Maokai, so I don't think Odoamne is there yet. But Samdi has been caught out, crucially lost, but going through, not just barely, not enough damage. The hot Coco coming in to keep Samdi standing, but Relech is going to be forced to flash away as Paris going to move through with the portal and escape. Navi barely holding onto their lives. So that's a big advantage for Fnatic.
I mean, it feels tragic though for Fnatic. You really wanted to be able to pick up a kill. You do get the flash from Samdi and Relech, but it was so close. If Upset just was a little bit further ahead, had a little bit more damage, it could have been 2 kills and been a whole different fate for Fnatic. Is now
tower disabled. Charm goes a little bit wide. Fancy footwork coming in from Vladdy as the tower comes back online. Navi realizes there's not much of a play here, but one more dash from Poby should be enough. However, the unraveled earth. Poby! We wanted to see more, and he's giving it to us. They will turn it into a 2-for-1, but Vladdy, it's just a hand stiff.
Vladdy is back, baby. He's able to take the outplay and take.
Cannot afford to underestimate.
So that's part of the power of Navi's game plan, as we just have another fight.
Vladdy stunned up. Paris, can he find the stun? Not quite. Poby finds the charm, and Razork blocks a lot of the initial damage with the Aegis Assault, but no longer has that cooldown. Might need to get to melee range just to get a Sundered Skyproc, and he does. Mayntor wants to keep the fight going. Lospa with the Unbreakable Will. Poby's forced to pop the ult. TP on the way top. It's a full-on fist fight, but Mayntor got knocked back under tower, and there's nowhere for him to go. A good pick for Fnatic. A minute until the Drake.
A huge overforce from Navi. They were really committed to finding this pick, and they're just not able to find it. More members to commit to that fight, and it was very awkward.
Only single people will understand. That's what it comes down to. But no, credit to Razork. Body blocks the charm, knows he has the Aegis Assault. They don't line up in a way to start the barn. But it's Dragon time. And Navi are there, but they're a little late to the party. It's Fnatic with first setup. Poby waiting over the wall. Relet's trying to poke with the Infernal Change. Major getting chunked out. Lost uses his full combo. They flick back Relet. It's a good start. A charm again, going wide for Poby, but a massive chunk of healing for Relet. It looks like the Thunder Sky is able to proc. Upset continuing to throw down so much damage, and he's basically untouched.
Oh, these
health
HP.
bars in the favor of Navi now as they turn it back as Vladdy gets poked. It's the 3-man knockup. It's Infernal Soul, and it's all going to hell for Fnatic.
It's Dragon for Navi. When you fight them at this objective, they're going to make it happen. A beautiful ace. They'll turn their attention to the Baron, and Navi takes full control of this second game.
I mean, Navi and Dragons is a match made in heaven as they pick up that.
Also say, right, is something I talked about in draft was Ezreal. And how he can be a difference maker. And you saw how in the longer the fight goes, if you're landing Qs, that damage sticks. And credit to Sam D. That man is an artist in his ability to land those Qs in that fight and just chip away at Fnatic's HP. Because Upset did his absolute best.
No. He did probably 15 autos in that fight, which is more than most AD carries ever. And all of your CC has just been spent ineffectively.
Yeah. I mean, that's why League is a game of inches.
Empero's continuing to split on the side lane, but currently Navi are only playing on 2 lanes.
Sorry, just another fun fact. If our observers can click Samdi just when he's like hitting on these towers, you'll see that his Q basically doesn't have a cooldown. That man, once you get to this point in the game, you're just spamming that Q, and the poke is unrelenting. It's a scary thing to deal with.
Ulti through the portal. Managed to clip him.
Paris has had a great bard game. Like his use of the portals, his ulti that he got in the last fight.
He whiffed 2 of the Qs in the earlier stages of the game.
Fine.
But the rest has been pretty flawless. And once again, they're doing the math problem on if they can kill Reletch. For now, the answer is no, but maybe they've got the damage this time around. Nope, it's more healing.
Fnatic, look at the chase here. Upset dashing over the wall, gets the slow on through Relet.
Done. Emperos moving in. Can't get in range for the counter-strike, though, crucially. Vladdy going over the wall, looking to lock up Samdi. He's out of mana. The Qs stop when you run out of mana, but he's shut down.
Get out. And then Reletch goes low, but with the Thunder Sky, with the ultimate, we have another play. Vladdy's in trouble.
Vladdy's out of mana. Flash from Poby. Foxfire for movement speed. Wall for movement speed. Oh, the Bard's going to finish the job. Oh, Paris.
Might be a bit in trouble.
Items.
It's Emperos is zoned away. That ulti's going to hurt a little bit, but he's just trying to hold the tower. It looks like they're willing to concede the Elder to just try and end the game, but we got recalls from Fnatic. Fnatic don't like their odds here as Mater is still in the area trying to disrupt them as best as he can.
I mean, Navi called their bluff. They said it's 20 seconds to Elder Dragon. You guys are...
Might as well getting this red buff will heal him a bit, but there's Sam D with the Qs.
Going in, Lost, but once again, burning a CC on Mater, definitely not ideal, but he just can't get into the squishy members of the team.
Look at this setup. Like, they have no vision. They look for picks. How do they approach?
Extra damage. Wall goes down, zoning them away. Navi content to let their jungler just keep going. I mean, it's going to take a while. They have soul, but they don't care. They'll just try to fight 4v5 if they have to. Paris coming back over the wall. Empero's praying to find the angle. Razork's in, but the ulti is short. And Sam D. Oh, he's just shooting fish in a barrel. Essence Flux. Followed by the Arcane Shift. Vladdy now caught out. Oh, a long time. The Decimating Smash going in. Emperos wants to turn it, but the Elder is not there. Fnatic managed to steal it in the meantime. Excuse me.
And Navi have kited them, they've outplayed them. Fnatic are falling by the wayside. And Navi will look to end this game with Reletch taking down Upset as well. It's a 2-0 for Navi up against Fnatic.
Systematic control. Navi get the Elder. Navi get the fight. Navi get everything.
Dominating performance, a 2-0 to kick off their playoffs to continue their journey in the upper bracket up against the winner of our next match today. Fnatic